Hello guys, welcome to my videos. Introduce myself. My name is Thiara Zatul Yuhendri, student of Economic Science Andalas University. In this video, I will present my mini project with the title Student Attitude to Climate Change Through Food Waste. As an introduction that environmental issues have recently become a public discussion because of the many environmental events that occur due to the extreme climate change. This is influenced by the attitude and behavior of an individual can be seen how he responds to the environment. This is reflected in the things that are obtained from action throughout the mind that must be done by considering the impact of the action taken. Since global issues relate to the response to the environment that is derived by the phenomenon of food being waste, or better known as food waste. It turned out that it has resulted in total production of leftover food produced by people around the world. Based on the record of the International Organization Food Agricultural Organization, it is estimated that 1.30 billion tons of food each year become residual waste. Around 70% of the total production is waste, of which 16% comes from household. Consumer behavior in disposing of food waste turned out to be one of the determinants of the occurrence of his food waste. Further mining, 16% come from shopping fees, and retailers also contribute 13%. When population grows based on a geometric progression, will food grows based on a numerical units. Meanwhile, food waste will also make the gap in equality wider and the food crop measure series. This alleviation effort is not accompanied by the behavior of the community, especially at the level of young people who glorify food. Many still make overrating their life cycle when what the busy is satisfying and risk in thrown away. Lack of awareness of the value of food has made Indonesia consistent as the second highest production of food waste in the world in estimated 300 kg of food waste per person per year. Data by Economics Intelligence Unit. So, based on this background, this research is entitled Student Climate Change Through Food Waste. This research can later be used as consideration for further analysis related to individual response that continue to the community toward food availability due to the individual's food waste behavior. So, the latter can describe the actual situation of student response to the behavior of food waste itself. The student eating behavior will be seen how it changes to the climate, so that later this behavior can also be seen its impact on the availability of food and influence of this attitude on nature. We will go into the method used in the research. The study was conducted on 70 students from the Academic Writing and English Presentation Engineering Class E3 in 2021. The students were 19 until 21 years old, with the assumption that they could give a rational attitude toward environmental response and were enrolled in the third years of education majoring in economics at Andalas University. The test instrument was prepared for respondents in the form of filling out a questionnaire on a Google form. The question consists of 9 questions, which are divided into several types of questions. Questions with a linear scale are aimed at looking a measure based on the level of understanding given to numerical measure. Starting for a small number, 1 reflects a low level of understanding to 5 indicate a complete understanding. In addition, types of questions are also provided in the form of explanatory answers, and they are asked to respond followed by reason. The goal to obtain concern information and provide answers thereby that condition in the fact. This research used a descriptive analytical method to respond answers become. This method is very subtle with the research rise because research on student attitude to climate change struck food loss. It is hoped that the described method can provide a real picture and construct information as show its influence on climate change. Enter the discussion of the result obtained in the study. Based on gender, the study will find with 70% male respondents, and the remaining 82.4% were filed with female respondents. Figure 2. The graph below shows the score up to 5 intervals given by each individual, which are displayed based on the average percentile in present form. This finding clearly shows that the level understanding of climate change is still at a doubtful level among students. Figure 3. Further research also shows that 94.1% of respondents answers that they needed knowledge about this climate. This answer correlates with the answer to the previous question but has answered doubtfully. So this result indicates that knowledge about climate change is needed among these students. From here, the response of concern about importance of knowledge and literacy can be seen here. See Figure 4. Graph below to show that respondents respond to the knowledge of the correlation of what was the impact of climate change. Based on the result, 47.1% of respondents gave the interval level at number 3, followed 29.4% gave their understanding at interval 4, 70.6% at level 2, and 5.9% gave perfect knowledge about this correlation relationship. So, it is clear that one average understanding at an interval of more than 3 to 5. In addition, the low ability groups also show a much greater preference for left hemisphere response interval than the lower ability group, right interval. In the questionnaire question asked about the impact of food waste on climate change, respondents gave varied answers, stating more causing a slum environments as well as population to lead to environmental or ecosystem damage. In addition, there will also be an increasing in greenhouse gases that cause radiation and warming of the Earth's atmosphere. This will be one of the causes of global warming, which has impact on global climate change. In addition, the presence of leftover food can also be the cause of the food crisis because it should be given to those who need it more. From this answer, it can be seen that the respondents are aware to the estuary of this food waste in extreme climate. Data obtained in Figure 5 show the result that student response are still unsure whether or not they have implemented sustainability behavior. So, the result of the mind is answering doubt with a percentage of the total respondents 70.6%. The rest who have just implemented sustainable behavior are only 70.7%, and those who have not implemented a sustainability lifestyle are around 11.8%. There are still 5 students who are aware and take action at their food product in sustainability direction. In the question asked about the step taken for leftover food, the respondent gave variation to be used as animal feed in waste organic in would process into fertilizer by composting or traditional by burying in organic waste. And if the plastic part will burn it. Interestingly, from the question, some respondents will spread the waste based on category and then disposed at its place. Finding on the understanding of food waste that also affect food availability in respondents shows sufficient knowledge of the sustainability of food chain to the final stage of disposal. By putting aside to hedonistic attitude by using food efficiently as possible, the current attitude of not caring about food waste should be positively correlated with a decrease in availability of food commodities, which will decrease. The point here is to consume as needed to that the product is well distribution to even small consumers. The response was also influenced personal behavior that always leave food. An interesting answer was also given that there is no relationship between food supply and leave for food because the availability of the food depends on the humanity's capacity to produce the food itself. As long as the renewal and production activities continue, the food supply will continue to exist. The leftover food can be used for the next, but because it has become leftover, it can't be used anymore. This response was also accompanied by the responder relationship. However, the person who gave kind of response was now much larger than those who gave a positive response to sustainability of food availability through this was food waste attitude. Next is attribute section that is responsible for climate change for this food waste. Responsibility indicate that more 50% made this everyone's responsibility and the shock the role of participant in society. This is because humans are causing food waste because of their life cycle. In addition, the resource of waste become from households that consume the food. Every individual must be responsible for climate change because as part of creatures that live on Earth must play a role in protecting it. Apart from this, of course, the role of government is also to determine the policy direction for minimizing the presence of food waste. Constructive efforts are being made on a phenomenon by utilizing food as wisely as possible, avoiding overly possessive consumption behavior, so that food is not liver and doesn't cause waste. Another attitude can be shown in awareness of the gas generated. Give priority of the food purchasing with pie and not to avoid with personnel, to be wasteful, to be able to manage to live first. Carry out further activities can also be one food waste to be used as animal feed or processed into fertilizer. Besides that, the green lifestyle must also be massively applied, using food or food ingredients by the required portion and needs. This is better and throwing it away. Use food wisely. In addition, for minimizing of food waste, it can also cultivate and green plants in the respective environment. This is of course by starting it care about information and trying to apply it. Let's move on to the next section of our discussion with previous research. This study has examined student attitude toward climate change on food waste. The research findings show how relevant and important is the literacy understanding of food waste and climate in the student sphere so that all consumption activities implement sustainable behavior. The findings also show that student attitudes are aware to correlation of food waste to the impact of climate change which also affect food suppliers. In addition, personal attitudes are also present because of hedonism, consumptiveness that leads to waste, which when food has lost in satisfaction. it is thrown away without thinking about its side, which is still of economic value. Protection motivation theory was prescribed by Donna L. Floyd, Stephen Presentin Dunn, and Ronald Roger in their journal entitled A Meta-Analysis of Research on Protection Motivation Theory. This theory assumes that fear-arousing communication has a significant impact on behavior change. In the study, it was proven that war influence starting from the media, literacy reading material which will have environmental effect on increasing students specifically in action of the consumption of liver fat. Overall, these findings are similar to risky Nisa Elmis, where student attitude toward reducing food waste are related to their interest in reducing food waste. This is also relevant to the result of a study using the theory of planned behavior, which is used to explain the relationship between attitude toward a behavior toward reducing food waste and an interest in reducing food waste, which assuming that a person's behavior arises because of an attitude toward a behavior. The next context, in which an environmentally conscious attitude as pro-environmental behavior is believed to get greater direct impact and what participating in environmental organization, frequently attending seminar or discussion related to environment making donation or environmental movement. This is aligned with study by Karp and Larson et al. That a high-level pro-environment response action will determine behavior that is not only personality-oriented but also a movement that are considered to have a more massive effect and such large implication continue this sociality level and more broadly. Finally, indeed, behavior to start from within a person's personality will have an impact on size of environmental, which is called environmental citizenship. This is explained as behavior direction that will have an impact the emergence of interaction and communication between individuals to invite others to behave the same way, namely pro-environment. The result that lead the increased awareness to pro-environmental behavior as a solution that is considered appropriate in dealing with climate change are also similar to several studies and have carried out previously. We come to the end of this presentation regarding the attribute to a problem by climate change. The majority of response state that the current condition was caused by human behavior itself. It also believed that lifestyle change that lead to pro-environmental behavior are the right solution. The result of this study need to study more deeply relate to the result of the studies which mention of relationship of attribution of each element to the impact of climate change mitigation because of this food waste phenomenon. By how far the responding knowledge regarding climate change is as to mitigation behavior is understood. This preliminary research is still descriptive and it's still necessary to refine further quantitative research to find out detail on the firm correlation and influence between variables related to using the result as initial findings. In closing, thank you for watching this video until the end. I hope you will get understanding and knowledge from this research. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.